Hello and welcome back to a brand new series of ReCall The Midwife. We are a fan podcast where we watch an episode and talk about it. Today, we are talking about Series 11, Episode 1. I'm Alex.
I'm Becky.
I'm Jen. Quick reminder that this week's episode deals with mental illness, infant mortality, cancer, traumatic birth, fostering, and adoption. So if those topics are ones you'd prefer to skip this time, we understand and hope you join us for the next one.
It's Easter 1967. Poplar is excited for the upcoming Eurovision Song Contest. Lucille and Cyril are in the honeymoon period, and Nancy has passed her midwifery exams and will be joining the Nanatins permanently. Derek and Audrey Fleming have returned to Poplar after spending time at Audrey's mother's. They're expecting again, but are full of trepidation after baby Christopher's death. Sister Julienne steps in to take over their care to give them a clean slate. After attending a clinic stirs up old memories for Audrey. Meanwhile, Derek, who is recovering himself, is encouraged to give up smoking. Phyllis encounters Mrs. Nile and her daughter Marigold on her district grounds. The discovery of a baby's skeleton on a building site is linked back to Miss Nile, who lived there with her mother before the war. It emerges that she gave birth to 2 children who were stillborn. That's the end of the synopsis. It's a little bit of a cliffhanger. I should have probably ended that a little bit better.
I was like, oh, wait, what happens? Well, watch the episode. Hopefully you all have watched the episode.
Now, just really quickly, we have a special guest with us today, which is very handy considering it's the Eurovision episode because we've got the second biggest Eurovision fan in the world with us. Okay, really quick before she goes down to Daddy. But we've got some special news, haven't we? Who's here today?
Bob.
Bob.
Yay!
Yes.
And
What's your news, Bobs?
We're getting kittens.
and what are the names going to be?
Pumpkin.
Yeah.
Parmesan.
Pumpkin and Parmesan. It's 2 ginger boys, isn't it? So that's
Oh.
the news she wanted to share. And also, she will be back. We're going to get some of that fluff. I totally forgot to get some fluff. So I will be getting that fluff. So we're going to do a taste test as well.
Yes.
When I get it, I'll sort it. Yeah, but we will sort it. We'll organise that. Right. Off you pop.
We're very excited for another taste test challenge, Bobs.
Bye. People.
Bye.
Did you say you could edit that part out?
Yes, exactly what she said. I'm like, hello, YouTube generation. Right.
I'll cut that in post. No big deal. Oh my God.
Yeah. Cut that out. She's like, Bex, cut that. Oh, right. Eurovision. Can I just say how excited I was?
Yes.
You know what? This episode, firstly, this episode, it starts with Easter, and we've just, like, this. When will this come out? I mean, Easter was only a couple of weeks ago. I feel like it's very on brand, this episode.
Yeah.
It's just been Easter.
Eurovision's about to happen. We're about to win Eurovision again.
Yeah, Eurovision for you. Fred's planting dahlias, which is very me.
Yeah.
Love it.
And all those babies in knitwear and the Easter knitwear.
Oh my God, there was some amazing
God.
Easter bonnets.
It was the
Nancy's
cutest. Oh, sorry.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a picture of me, because I've already put it up on social media before, but we'll have new listeners and stuff. But I shared a picture when I was like 7, about my daughter's age, with my Easter bonnet on. I'm going to put a picture of me next to Nurse Crane on our social media because it's very similar bonnet to Nurse Crane's. I feel like she got that from me circa 1987.
That is amazing.
I do object to Sister Julienne saying that Eurovision is a frivolous event, but the World Cup was history.
I mean, all I can say here is I've written 0.
It was one of the few times that I was like, Sister Julienne, I'm not on the same side as you. Like, I love her so much, but
the thing is,
I
though,
was
Jen,
like, no,
Eurovision's
I'm
not a big thing over here. A lot of people are very derisory of it. I'm very rare in the fact that I absolutely love it. And also, I knew all about it because that year was the first time we ever won the Eurovision Song Contest.
1967?
Yeah, Sandy Shaw won it with Puppet on a String.
Oh my God. Okay, I didn't know that. I mean,
Yeah.
I will say I think people know about it in the US, but you say it's not a big thing in the UK, but like it's got to be bigger than it is in the US.
Oh no, it is big, but it's loads of people like, oh, I'm not watching that. Like they think they're better than it, but they'll watch Britain's Got Talent. Do you know what I mean? So riddle me that.
Alex and I did a bit of a road trip type thing last weekend.
We did a road trip. It was a road trip. We went to Stonehenge.
Yeah, we went to Stonehenge, and Alex thought it would be fun on the way there. We had Bobs with us and my 11-year-old niece, and Alex thought it would be fun to listen.
Well, hang on, me and Bobs, because Bobs is obsessed. We've listened to it the whole way there.
To listen to Eurovision tracks and guess the country. Now, if I hadn't had my niece with me, I would have gone with it. But I just thought I knew that 2 hours of
I wasn't going to do the whole way. I was just going to do like a little clipper and then move on.
I think you're going to do 2 hours.
I was not. It's only 37 songs. There's only 37 songs.
I was just like, we're going to lose her.
Yeah, no fair.
We're not going to keep her on.
The thing is, I forget that obviously my child's obsessed with Eurovision. So I think, oh, yeah, they'll love that. But not every kid's obsessed with Eurovision. So,
Yeah.
fair.
And if it was English speaking music, she might have been into it.
This year, I will say it's a very high proportion, and this will go down in history. The 2025 Eurovision Song Contest is a very high proportion of different languages. Normally, it's more English songs than anything else. But this year, there's a lot of French. It's mad. It's absolutely like a lot, and why as it should be. It's their own language, but it's. I've never known a year like it. To be fair. Anyway, back to actual Call the Midwife. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
If you want to listen to my Eurovision podcast, it is.
You should have a Eurovision podcast.
I really should. Me and my husband going through the tracks.
You guys would, like special editions every year, nothing else, just that.
We listen to nothing but the Eurovision. Honestly, we know all the songs. The Ireland entry, just really quick. The Ireland entry this year is about Laika, the dog that went to space, and my daughter and me just sing it constantly. It's absolute banger. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
What country is that from?
Ireland have entered it, but it's a Norwegian singer for Ireland.
Ireland. Such a random choice for Ireland to go with that theme.
It really is, considering Samantha Mumba was running, and I thought Samantha Mumba would win that. Like, for the Song for Ireland contest, Samantha Mumba was in the entrance, and this song about Laika in the Sky, which is a banger. That one. There we go. It's called Laika Party. Anyway, that's by the by. Let's carry on. Let's talk about episode 1. So, the Easter costumes, the outfits for the babies in particular that Violet was judging were outstanding. There was one baby in particular who had just eggs all over them. It was outstanding.
I know.
I also loved
Colette's
outfit. She was in like a full-blown rabbit outfit. There was just some amazing outfits.
And May, she was no, it wasn't May. It was Angela. She was a little Easter chick.
Oh my God. They were all so cute. Like the knitted bunny hats with like bunny ears and everything for the babies and stuff. It was too much cuteness. But I have a question. Colette won the little race they had, and then she was given first prize. And then Nurse Crane goes, oh, here's it was like a box of like treats, like cookies or something like that. And she's like, here's this for you, but make sure your big sister doesn't take them all. And Nancy was standing right there, and I was like, wait a minute, have I missed something? Like, did they just tell?
No, doesn't she say something like, take these back to your foster family?
Yeah. So maybe she means your big sister Nancy.
Well, that's how I took it. But then at the end of the episode, Nancy is like telling her the truth, and she's like,
yeah, because until that point, she thought she was her sister.
Yeah, because she thought that. Yeah,
she thought Nancy was a sister.
Oh, okay. I had it backwards then. Okay. Sorry. So yes. Okay, you're right. Colette did think that Nancy was her big sister.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I felt for Nancy because Nancy had a uniform all laid out for her first day. You probably got no sympathy. She had a uniform.
That did suck. No, that did
all
suck.
laid out.
What do you mean no sympathy? I do that every school day, the night before, and lay it out for Bob's in the morning for the next morning. Not on the bed.
You mean every single night of the school year?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I lay out her outfit.
I mean, she's putting the same outfit every day. She's not going she's not.
Well, no, because obviously some days are PE, some days it's just easier, and also she can't reach the wardrobe because they're hung in the wardrobe. So I just get them down the night before.
Oh, okay.
If I'm honest, Jen, it doesn't look good. I just throw it on the floor. Like, I'm not Mother of the Year here.
You're not pressing everything meticulously the way that So and stuff? No,
I'm just getting dry rattans, crumbling it into it.
Let's
go back onto Eurovision. Sorry, just really quick. Can we talk about Fred's invite to Cyril? Because it made me want to cry with happiness.
Yeah.
Fred was like saying that he was going to have a party for Reggie for his birthday and Eurovision pie, and I was like, yes, Eurovision pie. And although we'll talk about that in a second, but Fred's invite to Cyril saying about Lucille and him if they'd like to join him because they want his nearest and dearest there, and Cyril was like really touched, and so was I. It was gorgeous.
Oh, see, I missed all that. Cyril was like not even in the episode pretty much for me.
Oh, for you, that's a bad episode for you. I used to have a Eurovision party every year, but I've stopped doing it because I got annoyed at people speaking.
Alex, this isn't your Eurovision podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do the thing that you always do to us, which is like, okay, we have to get back to the show. Call the midwife.
Well, do you know what? It's about time. It's the other way around, guys.
Well, there we go. This is the balance. That we need. All right. So, how do we want to break it up? Who do we want to talk about first?
Can we talk about the dry rot first in Nancy's room? About the fact that she has the world's biggest bloody room, and why were there not like 6 midwives sleeping in there? And then suddenly she's in a tiny room with. What is that about? And why did Trixie have a tiny little room even though she's the most senior midwife? Explain that to me.
Yeah, but why hasn't Trixie been in that room all along?
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Why has she not got the big room?
And it's like that room ceases to exist now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of us can answer this.
It's just the way the show's set up. I don't know that we can like navigate anything other than that at this point.
Well, it's just another thing about the rooms in TV world, because it just does annoy me. It annoys me on Neighbours, it annoys me on Call The Midwife, and they're both my two favourite shows.
The thing is, I think it's less about realism than it is about storytelling. Because it makes more sense dramatically for like exposition, emotional, like it just like having them room together is like, I mean, because remember, like all through the whole series, that's where they meet up to have drinks. That's where they get ready to go out. That's where they like share dresses with each other. That's where they like do each other's nails. Like remember when, Trixie like gave Chummy a makeover because she was like, oh, I want to put a little rouge, da, da, da. I mean, it's just like it makes sense for them to be in the same spaces, even if it's not quote reality. Like we just have to.
I know, but they could just have them like, oh, I'm visiting here with me wine. Like, do you know what I mean? Like we used to do it.
I don't know. I get it. I just don't think it's like that big of a deal.
Also, can we talk about Cyril and Lucille and their married life? She was like, oh, would you like mustard or would you like piccalilli in your house? And he's like, I'll have piccalilli today, And then she's like, do you want chocolate cake? And I was thinking, I want to live in their house.
I love a bit of piccalilli.
Oh, see, I missed all this. I didn't have any of this in mind.
Oh, honestly.
It would have just incensed you, though, Jen. Would have just incensed you, Cyril settling into...
I know. I don't even know what piccalilli is.
It's like a mustard pickle.
Oh, I probably would like
It's like a mustard pickle with baby onions, courgette. I think sometimes it has like pepper in it. Yeah, that's why it goes very well with ham or gammon.
Yeah, I probably really like that. I gotta get some stuff
when you come over, we'll have piccalilli.
I know. I need to go shopping and then send a box of things home to myself because these are the kind of things you can't get over here. Or at least I can't.
Parcel, by the way.
Still no. I don't know what it is.
I think that's.
Did you send it? Forever. Did you send it through work? She'll probably pay a tariff on it.
No, I sent it Royal Mail.
Oh, that's fine.
Maybe we need to confirm the address offline just to make sure that it's coming to the right place. I will say
it doesn't matter, it's gone.
No, because I told her the right address.
I will say the mail system here is not great, and I know you said that you guys' mail is not always the
Also,
easiest,
I was a bit worried because I forgot to confirm the Horlicks, and I thought, oh my God, they might think I'm trying to
smuggle drugs.
Smuggle a massive thing of cocaine through. But...
Fentanyl.
Yeah, fentanyl.
Chocolate flavored fentanyl. I will say, hopefully if nothing else, it just gets returned to you instead of just being like lost. You know what I mean?
I put the return address on. It's got that signed book from Dr. Turner in it.
I know. I really want that. I really want everything that's inside. I don't even know what's in all of it, but I mean,
you do. There's 2 Christmas cards from us though. Anyway.
Let's talk about Miss Niall and Mrs. Niall first, because I feel like this is a sad storyline. Then we'll end on a high.
Oh wait, can I just say one thing about the roof though? So like the one time that I saw Cyril 2 times. One when he came down and he was like, "Oh well, the whole roof is dry rot," and then when he's at the end dancing to Eurovision songs. So the thing is, did they say anything about fixing the roof or like?
No.
Just close the door on it, and that's the last we've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, meaning that Nancy moved in with Trixie, which, I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to show Nancy some grace, but like she still annoyed me this episode. But
Jen,
well, she borrowed Trixie's hairdryer and then blew the fuse on it, and then
we've all done that before.
No, we haven't. But also, I don't think that's that annoying. Like, I feel like if you need to use a hairdryer, it's not her fault. Like, you can't use a hairdryer too hard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, that happened. She's trying to dry a uniform.
Yeah, I will give her grace for that.
Yeah.
What annoyed you then, Jen?
Yeah, that.
Do you want me to tell you what annoyed me about Nancy? Well, if we're going on this now.
Go on.
Sure, go for it.
At the end of the episode, Nancy's really worrying about Colette feeling all weird at school and stuff. They go to school and she speaks to the teacher and she's like, oh, it's because there's chicken pox going around. And she's like, oh, she had it 5 years ago. And she's like, oh, I should have known that because of Colette, which is totally valid.
I felt very sympathetic about.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying that's what's annoying me. 100% valid. 100%. And then she speaks to everyone and they're like, oh yeah, but Nancy's very unsettled, right? And I don't know if it's annoying or not. This is, even then, I'm not sure if I'm annoyed or if I'm with her because I can kind of see her logic, but also at the same time, it's more unsettling. She's unsettled. She's not kind of...
Oh wait, the reason why she's like sleeping in school all the time and like kind of off is because she's feeling unsettled?
Apparently, that's what the gist I got. And then she basically spoke to Sister Francis. And Sister Francis was like, maybe you should tell the truth.
Yeah, so... I think that's on Sister Francis, not on
Oh, I missed so much. I didn't get that scene either.
So that's my point, Bex. I don't know if I agree with it or not because I do think it is good to tell the truth. And then I suppose there's nothing else to hide. Do you know what I mean? Nothing else that's hidden. So that can finally settle her, maybe. But that's what I mean. I didn't know if it was bad because she's already unsettled to unsettle her again.
I don't think it was just so there's a bout of chicken pox going around. The Turner kids have all gone down with it. So Sheila's on domestic duties.
Oh, she's got so much time to collate files as well with 3 sick kids. Like, it's so easy with 3 sick kids.
Well, I love how she's like, oh, I need something to do while I'm taking care of 3 small humans that are feeling incredibly. I was like,
Yeah.
Sheila, you're just a different kind of human.
So Colette is asleep at school on her desk.
Uh-huh.
Sister Hilda goes to school and she says, could it be chickenpox? And she says, if it is chickenpox, she's had chickenpox for like the last 2 years.
Since January.
Oh, sorry, since January.
Sorry, that came out really harsh. I didn't mean it that way. I just meant like not. She's had chickenpox for like 4 months. Is all I meant. Sorry, I didn't mean it that harsh. Sorry.
So Nancy says she would rather she did have chickenpox than to be really subdued and unhappy.
Yeah.
And so
Agree.
that's why Nancy's trying to settle it and trying to come up with an idea. And that's where she speaks to Sheila, because obviously she knows that Sheila has adopted May. And Sheila tells Nancy that when they first took May, they made her a scrapbook and it had all photos and memories. And she would ask to see it and talk through it. And then she would ask to look at it less and less. So Nancy decides that she's going to do that for Colette, but she's doing that based on a lie because Nancy's mother died when she was young. Like, she hasn't got any photos to share with her.
I think you're talking around, to be honest, because I was a bit like, she's unsettled. Is that the best thing for her? But I couldn't decide. And I haven't, if I'm honest, guys, I've been degrouting a shower today. So I watched it and then didn't really think on it. Normally I mull a bit more, but then I've been pulling what do you call it? Silicon. So I've just not been really thinking about it. And I thought, oh, I'll think about that, and then didn't. So I do think she's done it to settle her, but I just. Oh.
But then I think if Nancy's plan in all of this is to become qualified, get a profession, earn money so that she can support her and her daughter. Nancy is fully intending to take custody of Colette as and when she's able to.
Yeah.
The danger of letting her become settled with another family and then pulling her from that, Nancy would either have to let her go and decide that she can live with another family, or she's going to become settled and then she's going to unsettle her again. And when I just think there's no easy time to I don't know. How do you even decide?
And I think actually, no, I think you're right. And I think as well, that's kind of like final now. It's got a finality to it. There's no big secret that she's hiding from her. She can be honest with her and stuff. And that, obviously, she doesn't have to watch what she says about her and stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that probably will be good.
Can I just talk very briefly about Sister Frances? Because Sister Frances then goes down with chickenpox as well.
Yeah.
The dress down nun look. So unfortunate.
I mean, I don't think it's great having all the chicken pox on her as well.
It's
also, I thought this storyline was going to go into something much darker because the last person she'd seen was Mrs. Fleming.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, Mrs. Fleming, because I thought about Baby Warren.
Yeah.
Oh, I was terrified. Anyway, that did nothing.
Again, Sister Frances was in it for like 2 scenes for me as well. Like, she saw Mrs. Fleming, and then she was about to go out on her district rounds. She looked red as a tomato, and then there was the scene where she was covered in spots, and then the scene where she was waving out the window at the baby, and that was all I saw of her. So.
Yeah,
well.
she did a scene with Nancy where she was like, "Tell the truth." And
I'm almost like, did I even watch the episode at this
feverish?
point? Gee whiz.
Yeah, but I thought you're really wise normally. Are you feverish? And then I thought, well, am I wrong though? Because Sister Frances is normally right, and I've changed my mind completely, and I haven't found Nancy annoying today.
Yay!
Yeah.
So Miss Nile, Marigold Nile.
Yeah.
So
how old was Marigold Nile?
I'll be honest, I was struggling with figuring out how old she was like multiple times during this.
Didn't she move out of that house in 1936?
Yeah.
So 30 years ago.
And it's 1967.
In the time of the show.
Yeah, so 30 years ago. And that, so she how old do we think she was when she had the babies? 50?
Well, I think young, because
her mum was in her 40s.
She looked like she looked like she was, at the time that we met her, she looked like she was in her 40s or early 50s, because I was getting like 70s-ish from the grandma, from the mom.
Well, the actress was born in 1969.
Okay.
How old would she be now? Why can I not do maths?
55. She's 55 now.
So when she filmed it,
right?
50?
Yeah. Or 51 or 2 or something like that, roughly, yeah.
Yeah, 51 then. So 50.
Yeah, that's about right. That seems right.
Yeah. Right,
I
fine.
mean, the thing that I found,
Well,
the
she would
thing,
have been in her early 20s then when she had the babies.
yeah,
Yeah,
Or
because
late teens.
she was with a married man. So she wouldn't have been a child with a married man. So she would have been like 17, 18, 19.
Well, she also
this,
said it's like, oh, you're right, but she said for many years he should be charged, is what she said.
well, I'm
Should we give
like,
some
okay,
context? Sorry.
yeah, we're skipping
So,
over a lot here.
Mrs. Nurse Crane, we're out of practice, guys. We've not been doing it for a few weeks.
I
So
know.
Nurse Crane goes round to the house and Miss Niall opens the door. She's like, you Mrs. or Mrs. She's like, Miss. And she's very much about keeping up appearances. They go into the house. It looks like a bloody royal household. It was well posh.
Mhm.
It was really well kept. It's all about, we need to make, we have it. And she said, oh, you have a comfortable home, Miss Niall. And she's like, yes, we try and do what we want, kind of thing. Blah, blah, blah. And then they were talking about the fact that her mum's incontinent and she's very guarded about it. She's very like, oh, people mustn't know. We try and keep ourselves smart. I keep her in, I can't remember the word.
Respectable.
Respectable, thank you. And then she says, my grandfather was an alderman. I had to look up what that was, by the way.
It's just a
Oh,
councillor, isn't it?
It's a what?
it's like a
It's
elected
council.
official.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you two obviously knew what it was. I didn't.
Well, no, I looked it up.
Oh, right. I looked it up especially
Oh,
for this
see
episode.
what's funny for me is we had like, so I grew up in Massachusetts and aldermen were, yeah, local city officials. Like I wonder, I mean, Massachusetts carries a lot of stuff over from
Yeah, it
UK
says it still
things.
goes on in some American things. In 1972,
Yeah.
they stopped them in the UK.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
I need
see,
to correct myself. They left, so it's Madeira Street, the house. They left Madeira Street in 1939. Now it's 1967. So they left 28 years previously.
mhm.
Yeah, so I reckon that she was 20. Yeah, I reckon
Or like maybe 18.
I
There was
reckon she
18
was
months
late,
between the babies.
18 months
18
between
months,
the
yeah.
babies. Yeah, so I reckon she was
Probably like 17 to
late
20.
40s, late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I mean, the thing, and I don't know why, I just noticed a lot of like, I just paid, for some reason, like a lot of the props and things like that were sticking out in my mind for this episode. Like Miss Higgins has like a lunch set at the very beginning when the Flemings walk in that was like really sticking out. Like Nurse Crane, like the little Tupperware that she gave the treats to Colette, a lot of different stuff. And the thing about the house that the Niles lived in is like even Nurse Crane comments that when she walks in, she's like, oh, this is quite like put together and everything. And it was so done. And there was, I don't know, maybe it's just me overthinking it, but like it felt so kind of tight and
Oppressive.
formal and oppressive. Yeah, it just like the
Yeah.
decor was just so intense and it was so rigid and so like, like there wasn't anything like relaxed about it or like lived in
Yeah.
about it. It just felt like, like the place for
No, I
everything,
think I
everything in its
agree.
place. And I just felt like, she was just so buttoned up that it was like, oh my God, like I'm like this woman is literally white knuckling it through every single day, like she's hanging on by a thread, like
Yeah, but I think that's the
yeah.
whole thing, isn't it? Like we were all like,
Yeah.
what's her deal? Why is she so? We thought it was to do with her mum at first because her mum
Right.
also. I thought the mum was quite reminiscent of Mojo. The way she was there reciting poetry, doesn't really know what's going on. And you think, oh, something big is going to go happen with the mum because the mum was actually quite a famous actress in the UK, and she
Oh,
used
really?
to be like, well, yeah, but years ago. I don't actually remember anything in it. She was in like Ever Decreasing Circles and stuff like that, like big sitcoms in the like. She's been in EastEnders, like she was
okay.
a big actress, and then. So we kind of just have that scene of like this kind of uncomfortable respectability, like really tightly wound Miss Niall with her mum. And I thought at first maybe she's abusing her or something. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
That was my first thought when I first watched the episode. And then Trixie sees Matthew in the street by luck and throws a ball at him, making him drop it. I thought that's highly unprofessional, Trixie.
That ball, though, and he's talking about cricket with John T. I can't remember what he says.
He said the 1986 like finals. I was like, oh my God, Back to the Future. Yeah.
Oh, is he talking football?
No, cricket. Cricket.
But he said I'm sorry, he said like 1986 though, and I was like, oh my word, that's us.
And
not us exactly, but like
I was like, that wasn't a cricket ball.
No, it wasn't.
Football.
But maybe you don't throw massive hard cricket balls at
the child is like a year old. Like he's not gonna have the dexterity to be like, you know what I mean? Like literally she threw a ball at him in the hallway.
Give him a little ball.
It was a ball.
Football. That was a football.
It wasn't a football. It was just a blue baby bouncy ball.
It was a football-sized ball.
That's the kind of ball you guys use for football?
No,
we don't.
It's smaller than a normal one.
A football-sized ball. It wasn't a cricket-sized ball.
No, I don't think it really matters about the ball, guys.
I think it really matters. I want to really thrash this out.
Okay.
But what luck that Trixie was there with Matthew when an emergency came up about a baby. What
Yeah.
absolute luck.
The
So
timing
then
was
she goes
impeccable.
in. Yeah, and then she goes in and inspects the baby's bones. And she's like, well, from the look of that, and I thought, you just be like, look, this is not my skill set, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not my skill set.
That
It's
was
not.
ridiculous. He was like, "Oh, he's like, you should look." I'm like, "Why?" I'm like, "She deals with living babies, sir." Like, I don't know what I mean. That was kind of,
And
I
she was
don't
like, it's
know.
a possible newborn. I thought, well done, Sherlock. And then
Yeah, it just really didn't feel,
and then the police turns up, DS Virginia Barrow with the worst wig we have ever encountered on this
Oh
show.
my God. It was like you could
She had
see her
modern
like head
eyebrows.
scratching it and it was like
Oh,
moving across.
but
It
she
was
had really modern
terrible.
eyebrows, like microbladed eyebrows. Did you see that as well?
I
Yeah.
didn't that.
Oh, you need to notice because she had I'll put a photo on our social media. She had microbladed eyebrows and the world's worst wig. And I thought you look like a really weird mishmash of eras. Oh, it was awful.
I like this storyline, but when I tell you that this storyline was to me, as I was like watching along, it didn't occur to me, but then at the end it did, and it felt like this was a storyline that did not make sense in 2025 or no 2021 or whatever year this aired, like the last couple of years, because the way that it would have been handled in 1967 versus like how they had to make it for the modern audience watching it, I was just like, no, this ain't adding up. This is
Well, it
not
had the
making
same
sense.
kind of outcome, I think, that would have happened in 1967. Because I don't think anyone would have bothered even looking for the mum in 1967, if I'm honest.
Maybe not. Yeah. But at the same
So
time, I also just don't think they would have, I mean, like, just the way that they handled like the mental health part of it too, I just was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
like way more compassionate than you guys would have been. Women got tortured for so many things. Like back, I was like, y'all would have just thrown her in a sanatorium again or something. I mean, just, I don't
Yeah.
know. I just
So
was like, this
anyway,
is,
the
yeah.
police woman with the bad wig, she was there and she was like, oh, there was been 15 nurses living there. And I don't know why are you speaking to Dr. Turner about it?
He doesn't know.
Why are you giving him but why is she giving him the details of the case? I'm like, what? Didn't make sense. So
well,
anyway,
Well, I'm
can I
guessing it was under the pretense of the medical records, right?
that's so weird.
well, can I just talk about the fact that they've identified the fact that the baby was a newborn? Now they've identified it based on the exact length of the clavicle bone.
Yeah.
The exact length was the size of a newborn. Any shorter, and that baby would have been premature. Any longer, and that baby would have lived. Surely it depends on the size of the baby.
Yeah.
Surely not every child is born with the same size clavicle.
Oh, you know what though? I'm gonna actually maybe disagree with you a little bit. And I'll say this because one thing that's kind of I think there are variations, obviously, if someone is like really, really big or really, really small. But if you take most averages across, there are lots of things in the human body that are literally a very small difference in size. Like human heads, like they're only like a 2 to 3 inch normal difference between someone's head size. Like if you take like length of like shoulder to like elbow and then like elbow to wrist and things like that, most of them are going to be within a certain very small range. So I could see how like if you're considering like an average baby, that it would be a relatively measurable size.
So they've determined that it's a newborn.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've determined from and this is where, would they have done this? They've determined the lino that was on the floor was discontinued before the war.
Yeah.
So the floorboards couldn't have been disturbed after the war when it became a nurse's home. So they know that it predates the war, and there were some newspapers underneath that from the Jubilee. So they've got a time window. So they know it had to be from when the Niles lived there.
I thought that the newspapers were from around the time of the abdication, which I was like,
maybe it was the abdication.
ooh.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was the abdication.
Yeah, which I thought was like, whoa, callback.
Yeah, because then she started talking about Mrs. Simpson, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So to start with, we didn't say at the start, Mrs. Nile, Phyllis was seeing her because she was incontinent, but she has dementia.
Yes, the incontinence seems to be a symptom of the dementia, I think so.
So Miss Nile at first tries to explain that her mother gave birth to the babies.
Oh, I
Which
know.
I can kind of understand. Like she's obviously not in her right mind, is she?
No.
Well, and I wonder if this was something that they had cooked up together to say if anything ever came up about it because they were both so afraid of what the consequences would be. I didn't know. I speculated in my mind that that was like why she said that because it was like.
And Dr. Turner also says to DS Barrow, the younger lady that lives there, Miss Niall, has a history of mental instability. So he wants to be there when he speaks to her for the first time. Oh no, he's not there. Phyllis is there.
Yeah.
He said the nurse should be there.
Yeah, so Phyllis is there, but then Phyllis points out to DS Barrow. And if I was Phyllis, I was like, would I have pointed this out? Or actually, reading between the lines, would I have just let DS Barrow think that senile, I know, is that the wrong word, senile? Anyway, Mrs. Niall.
Oh,
is
like
it
because of her
easier
dementia.
to just let everyone believe that it's Mrs. Niall because she's now not able to take responsibility? I don't know if I would have said something. Anyway, Phyllis says that when she was helping Mrs. Niall, she noticed that she had a scar from a cesarean. And then when they look into it, she had a cesarean and then she had a hysterectomy. So actually, Marigold was her first and only child.
Yeah, and Dr. Turner was like, medical records do not lie. And then she admitted it and said there was a second baby and that the baby 18 months later they hid behind the flu.
Well, she said about the second baby like while she was still lying about who had the babies though. She said that she's like, oh, there's more than one baby.
No, she did. You're right. 18 months between us. She did.
Yeah.
And this is where you can tell that she did care because they say to her which baby was born first and she says the boy, but actually they're not able to determine from the skeletons which is the boy and which is the girl. So she's not thinking of them as like, oh, the one I hid under the floor. She's thinking of them as the boy and the girl.
Yeah.
Such a plot twist though. When I first watched this, I remember being shocked.
Yeah. I mean, I really thought that it was the mother. I didn't think that was going to be like.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds about right. And I just thought like there could be any legitimate reason why the mother would be so desperate not to claim another child that,
she said because she was a respectable widow.
Yeah.
And I think if the babies had lived, if the babies had lived.
Here's the thing though, could they have been live births?
I think they were live births, guys.
Yeah, I don't think she had 2 stillbirths. I felt like that was something she said because she didn't know what she was doing when she had them, or she was trying to make herself feel better or something like that.
Someone's so obsessed with what people think.
Yeah, I wasn't really believing that they were just both. And I don't mean this, well, let me rephrase it. I don't want to say it that way. I think it would have been too almost simple if the babies were stillborn. And I don't mean that in a callous way. I just mean that like
I know what you mean.
It kind of,
both of them. It's quite a coincidence that both were in a situation where it's a real dire situation if they have a baby. Do you see what I'm saying?
Well, I think if she thought that the babies were born and they weren't alive, that would be not as horrible for her to think about as if like she'd caused them to not be, if she'd.
I think she's rewritten the narrative. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she believes that those babies they were stillborn.
Yeah.
And she says, when I was watching it, because there seems to be a big thing about saying that after they cut the cord, the babies were still. If it was to do with them not cutting the cord properly.
Oh, I mean, could be, but I think cutting the cord not right means that it could harm the mother too, right? Did we learn that already on the show? I know. I mean,
you think after 11 series we'd be absolute experts on stuff like this, but obviously not.
I remember when Dr. McNulty was here and he was trying to cut the cord too fast and he hadn't clamped it, and Valerie says to him, no, like stop, you have to clamp the cord first, and I think he says that the baby would be harmed if he didn't, but I can't remember what she said.
And that's why I wondered if it was to do with cutting the cord. But then we find that Miss Niall was an inpatient at the Lynchmere in the 1950s, so that would have been 10 years later.
Yeah, which is a heavy thing to have on you. Those two, the deaths of your children anyway, must be the heaviest thing in the world ever, despite, if they were stillborn or not. Like either way, it's horrendous. So that'd affect you, and then not being able to talk about it or tell anyone, or do you know what I mean? Couldn't grieve.
So it was a lot for Matthew to deal with. He's just dealt with the death of his wife.
Well, then he rings Trixie when they find the second baby in the flu, and he's there ringing. And I'm like, why are you ringing Trixie? She found the first one, but my point is, they're getting closer.
They definitely
Trixie's, are. Well, not Trixie. Helen George is obviously preggers with the outfit she was wearing at the graveside.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the second baby.
Oh, that was her second baby. Oh, okay. Right. I remember when she already went on her first maternity leave.
So anyway, the ineffectual wig woman, no charges being pressed. There was lack of evidence that they thought the prosecution would say. And also, Dr. Turner was saying, if I read between the lines, what we're saying here is she's already been punished enough.
I know. And she was like, yeah, she has. Okay, that's all. Anyways, bye-bye. Like, I just was like, Really? She's like, she really needs psychiatric care. I'm like, okay. I mean, she does. She clearly does. But at the same time, I was like, this is wrapping up too tidy. Also, I will say, like, I feel bad, but like, it kind of annoyed me the way that and it was probably too much for them to do in the episode, but like, kind of the throwaway line of like, oh, I was in an arrangement with a married man. Like, you should really investigate him. Like, he was really the bad guy. I was like, why can't this be something else? Like, it just didn't make sense. Like, if it was truly, I just wish that there
Well,
had
I
been
didn't.
different thing. Like she had, yeah.
I mean, obviously he is in the wrong because he's the married man, but she was also in that relationship. Oh, I don't know. This is such a.
We don't know. We also don't know the ages, do we?
No, we don't.
Well, to me, it felt like that line needed more explanation than we got. And I wish she had just been like, I mean, I don't wish this. This is not what I mean. But I'm just saying, like, I wish she had said, like, oh, I had a, like a boyfriend and I really thought he was gonna be there for me, but he didn't. And then after the first one, like, I was so, like, lost in my own mind that before I knew it, I was pregnant with the second one. And then da da da. Or, like, like my father abused me or somebody else. Or, like, like,
Thing is,
or
though,
I
I will
don't know.
say,
I just wish there was, like, some other exposition, but, like,
yeah,
just
but
like, oh,
I
I
feel like
had a bad relationship.
this storyline to me was definitely the B storyline. I also feel like it was a vehicle to show Trixie and Matthew together again. I also feel like it was after COVID. There was a big thing about mental health everywhere. They thought, let's do quite a different mental health storyline, but it's still sympathetic. Blah, blah, blah. I think it was just, I don't know. I just think it was very much the B storyline.
When she was putting it on the married man, I think that was all part of the whole respectability thing, where she was basically saying, none of this is on me.
Yeah.
Because it takes two to tango.
It does.
Not always.
It does.
But there we go. Anyway.
Well, I loved her line about like, oh, like you're sure it wasn't those nurses that were just like, loose moral women like all through the 1940s. I was like, oh, okay. Well,
I mean, she's not wrong.
Well, no. I mean, famously, like, no, but it's true. Like during the war, I think a lot of people just were like, well, we could die any day. Like, let's live for the moment, like I might as well have fun while I can have it, No,
but I wasn't calling all nurses loose with my joke there, by the way, everyone.
Oh, no. Nurses are not loose women. No one's a loose woman. I mean, what even is that? But
I mean, well, I think you'll find Ruth Langsford is. So I love her. Not in that respect, I just mean the TV show. Anyway, can we talk about something that I'm mourning, people? Can we talk about? No, we can. I love Eurovision. I could talk about that if you want.
No.
I'm talking about the fact that Audrey has lost her fringe. She's growing it out.
Yes, she has.
That is the greatest tragedy of this show for me today.
I loved her hair. I felt like they looked so snazzy when they came back. Like
I think her hair's great. I think her hair looks nice. She's got gorgeous colour. But
yeah.
I very much, I've got a fringe. We had fringe solidarity. I've mentioned it before. I thought it was a proper strong, good fringe.
With a fringe. Yep.
And I feel very sad it's not there.
Yes. Well, in place of her fringe, she has something else. Maybe she just is like, I can't keep up with the fringe now that I'm going to have a baby. I mean, maybe she's like, fringe takes too much work while you have a newborn.
Not everyone can pull it off, guys.
So they've been staying at her mum's in Streatham, which made it sound like she'd been in like Suffolk or something, but no, she's in Streatham, a borough of London.
To be fair, it might have been less industrial, less buildings and stuff. It might have been more countrified in those days.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know anything about that geography, but
neither do I. Tell us if you know, guys, because we're not going to look it up. Carry on.
But they're back and she's pregnant and she's late in her term and she's feeling really excited, but very anxious, understandably.
Oh, 100% understandably. Bless them, both of them.
Yeah.
She comes back to clinic and that brings it all back. Also, one of our brief scenes with Sister Frances sees her.
Mm-hmm.
And that
she just bursts into tears when she's getting her exam, which, like, again,
understandable.
Totally get that. Yeah.
I've got a question here, guys. When Sister Julienne was like, oh, we can change your team and stuff, I thought she meant to a complete new birthing team because Sister Julienne was there for the death. And I feel like that would bring that back to me. Yeah, she came in with Glenys.
But I think she wasn't there, like, for all the care and then the birth as much. Like, I think
she wasn't there for the full labour. She just arrived after the baby.
Yeah, I know, but even then, it's still someone who was there when that. I just think that would bring back memories for me.
No, I think it was a clean slate.
Yeah, I think it was
not
a
clean enough for me. I'd be like, that's not spick and span enough. I need new birth.
Yeah, but then you'd have had the baby in Streatham. You wouldn't have come back to Poplar.
Yeah.
I would have. I've got to be my own home. I just want another. I'll go to St Cuthbert's, thank you.
But also, like, having the baby was going to be hard enough anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
I just thought, I didn't know if that was enough. Like, Dr. Turner and maybe Sheila together is a completely different team. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought it was fine myself. She seemed like she was okay with it as they were
Yeah,
going through
but
and
yeah,
stuff.
she was fine with it. I just thought it was just a thought, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's a worrier, so she's worrying about Derek because he obviously had a partial gastrectomy
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I also
and
wrote that down.
is recovering from that. And then the risk of gastric cancer is heightened. That's the wrong word. By smoking, increased. The risk is increased by smoking, and Derek's smoking 30 a day because he's so nervous.
30
come on.
cigarettes a day.
I know.
Oh, I was like, oh, Derek,
Do you know
we
what?
gotta.
Smoking is very rare these days. Do you find this?
No.
I think people still smoke a
Everyone's
lot.
vaping.
I feel like it's just not as socially acceptable.
Yeah, I think loads of people vape. That's terrible. But I went to a wedding last night. There was a lot of smoking going on because drunk
Okay, I
people
don't come
smoking.
across that many smoke. When I pass a smoker in the street, it's a pleasant change to a vapor.
My
Well,
daughter's
also-
genuinely scared of smokers, like cigarette smokers, because she went. My husband took her to Liverpool once when we were doing something actually, I think, and he took her to Liverpool, and she went into the street, and this woman had a fag, and she put it out on her arm by accident. Like my daughter Bob's was like, it didn't burn her properly or whatever, but it was on her arm, and she was really shocked and upset by it. She was about 5. Also, can I just tell
Oh,
you, I learned where fags come from this year.
Where?
you mean like the
When I
word?
say this year, I mean this week. FAGS. No, my husband told me. So if this
What?
isn't right, it's him who's wrong, right? But he told me where the word fags, because I was like, where does fags come from? And he was like, oh, it's this. So fags is so people call in England, by the way, everyone, I'm not just doing slurs here. In England, people call cigarettes fags.
Cigarettes fag.
Right? It's a real thing. Lend us a fag. Oh, has anyone got any fags? Right? It's because the army issued with rations and stuff. They also issued cigarettes, and on the
Yes.
packet of the cigarettes, it said for a good smoke, FAGS,
Oh.
and that's where it's come from.
Huh.
Yeah, I was like, that's a
Interesting.
really good fact. He was like, thanks.
Wow. Okay.
Well, that segues on to Sister Hilda, who's running the non-smoking clinic, because she describes smoking. I loved this scene. It was hilarious. A bit over the top. It almost went a bit sexual. I don't know.
It did.
Yeah, I was like,
I
Sister
loved it.
Hilda, you're like going so hard
But
on this.
Sister
Yeah.
Hilda's always extra about her life before being a nun. I
Yeah.
just don't think she enjoys being a nun, guys.
Well, she's
And
like, you don't even know. I was living before I joined the nunhood. She's like, I was hot to trot. I was wearing my nylons. I was in the waps. I was smoking things, doing the gins. Like, I was living my life. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So she describes that she when she was in the is it WAFs?
Wafts, yeah.
Yeah. It's because Jen said WAFs.
Jen said waps, and I was
Oh,
thinking,
I said waps?
you're doing a bit of
Oh.
Cardi B there.
Oh, okay. She's a waff, not a wap.
Don't Google Cardi B and Megan Thee
Waps.
Stallion wap. Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So yes, so she was talking about her days of smoking.
And she
She
was
sounds a
like
bit like my husband when
the
he talks
crisp
about smoking.
smell of
sometimes.
tobacco. She's like that burn when it runs down your throat. She's like that first inhale when you've been having a long day and you see a man who's giving you the eyes across the room and you just think tonight's gonna be a good night. Like she was just going all the way. I was like, ma'am, you're not supposed to be selling cigarettes. You're supposed to be selling smoking cessation. Like people are supposed to not want to smoke after this, not want to smoke more.
You know,
What's going
but it's not stopping smoking. I don't think it really caught on in the 60s, did it?
No, but it was kind of people
Well, it
were
was.
yeah,
I
realizing
mean,
at that
Dr.
point.
Turner quit. Like he got shamed into it, and then he stuck with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did, but he's a doctor.
Anyway, so then Audrey goes into labour, and like the fringe, we had very similar fringes. She also had a similar pain at labour because she had really terrible back pain. Mine was all back pain.
Oh,
Yeah, the baby was was Bob's spine to spine.
I've no idea. I don't think so. I
Oh.
can't remember. It was just the whole thing was just harrowing.
So the baby was spine to spine, which is more painful. And Sister Julienne's just like, the baby will turn.
All will be well.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just
Well,
move
no,
around the room.
It was
Yeah.
Lucille that kept on saying all will be well, and I don't know, that whole birth I just was like felt like
I've
I don't
not
know,
even
that
touched
her
on that in this novel.
that whole
I forgot about that
storyline-
birth.
Well, I just was like, skip it. It felt like a real like non-important one to
I
me.
think it was just well, no, it's just that obviously it showed that she was in the same building as the other woman, and it also just showed that they were making headway with other people in the community, and it showed there were different communities there. I think that was that showed.
Yeah.
So anyway, so poor Audrey's giving birth at this point, huffing, puffing, awful, having another time. Massive gush, and her daughter pops out, And then they do a
Mhm.
close-up on the daughter's perfect little legs. And I was like, oh.
Aww.
Elizabeth
Little
Christine,
toes.
awful name.
Well, yeah,
Oh,
well,
really?
it's not awful. Christine
I thought
was
Elizabeth
named after Christopher, her brother.
Oh, I thought it was nice.
Is that where they got that from?
Yeah, that's why they've gone with Elizabeth Christine, because of Christopher, obviously. It's an obvious blonde there, thank you.
Apologies to any Elizabeth Christines listening.
I don't hate that name, not gonna lie. I
I
mean,
thought it was nice.
it's a bit too regal for me, but
Yeah. I used to love the name Lilibet,
Ugh.
and I never realized it wasn't I thought it was like the way Becky is short for Rebecca. I thought that Lilibet was the standard shortening of Elizabeth, but it wasn't. It was just the Queen's nickname.
yeah.
It feels too cutesy. I just don't. I
And
don't
then
like it.
She also
I liked Lilibet, and Alex was like, "It's awful."
I don't think it's awful, but I just don't like it.
I mean,
And
I'm going to
now
stand by the
Meghan and
awfulness.
Harry- Now Meghan and Harry have used it. I'm just like, oh, don't use a nickname.
Do you know what it
So
reminds me of, Bex? Renesmee.
Yeah. Yes, it
Mhm.
does. I
Anyway.
used to like the name Esme for a while, and Alex was like, "It's awful."
I will say there's loads more Esmes now. This is like 20 years, like it was years and
20
years ago,
years
wasn't
ago.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were ahead of
Yeah.
your time, Bex. But my daughter had her enemy at nursery was Esme. She still talks about her now, and she's nearly 8. She's going on about how she hated Esme and she doesn't want to see her again. I'm like, good luck in high school.
Are they still in school together?
No, she shouldn't go to our school, but she'd probably go to high school with her.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why she had such a thing against her. She's like, she took a paintbrush off me once, and I'm like, get over it, mate.
What if they're going to be like best friends in high school and it's going to be
Well,
so
they probably
shocking?
I don't think they will
will be.
because she'll be like, oh, not Esme.
Stranger things have happened.
True.
So,
But anyways,
Audrey,
Yeah, go
before
ahead.
she gave birth, we should say that she'd started compiling lots of evidence of other families, children that have suffered birth defects.
Have we talked about the fact that we've met Audrey and Derek before?
Yeah, no. No, we just said they're back.
Oh, we didn't. Oh, we said they're back. We didn't really go into it. Yeah. Oh, you guys,
Yeah.
we love them. They were
Well,
they were in last season.
Yeah, they'll know. You'll know. You'll know if you're listening to this. You're not just listening to this podcast and then only watching a thing. You'll listen beforehand as well.
Real ones
Christopher
know
was born
that-
with no legs below the
Yeah.
knee.
Well, it was their
And-
next door neighbour was pregnant. Her best friend Glenys was also pregnant at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, did we-
Real distinct lack of Glenys that really annoyed me.
Also,
They
are
were-
we not forgetting the fact that like Bobby Delamere was our #1 guy in season 10 and we're
Yeah.
like didn't get to see
Bobby
him in this-
Delmore.
Delmore, yes.
They resolved this storyline quite quickly, like for the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Like they must have got pregnant quite quickly afterwards.
Yeah.
Actually,
I thought
yeah,
it was,
they
when
really
you
did.
said, oh, they come back, and we were like, oh, series 11, that's ages away, and then it was today, and I was like,
Do you know what? I'm going to work out. I'm going to go back after this, and I'm going to report back next week. I'm going to work out. It's Easter 1967. I'm going to work out when we saw them, at
I'll
what
tell you.
point last series.
I'll tell you, it was Easter 1966,
How do you
Was
know
it?
that?
because it was series 10, episode 1 that they were in.
I was gonna
Oh, was
say it had to
it?
be the beginning
Yeah.
of episode. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's fine. That's 12 months. 3 months later, she got pregnant again.
Yeah, because she was 9 months pregnant in this. Obviously, had the baby. We just explained that, Alex. Well done.
Yeah.
So she's got a file of loads of notes, and we've backtracked a bit, but she just wants to, because she's so anxious about the birth, she just wants to not think about it anymore. So she hands it over to, who did she hand it over to? Sister Julienne, but Sheila's there.
Yeah.
So Sheila's like, oh, lovely, I'll organise this and type it up.
Now, I've had one child with chicken pox. And I will say she was 3, a bit younger than Turner. No, Teddy Turner's about 3. He's a bit older, actually. But it was horrendous. I was working from home. She was sleeping on me. Like, it was just absolutely awful, sweaty, awful. That was one child. It was just horrendous. I got no sleep. It wasn't a nice time. How was she, with 3 kids who are really ill, collating all these files, seeing a pattern? Oh, the Ministry of Defence will be able to see these patterns in there. And it's not like she's on a flaming laptop. She's
not using Excel.
No.
I
Although
know.
Sheila would be a freak in the sheets, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She'd be outstanding in Excel.
Well, I mean, yeah.
But do you know what I mean? I was just a bit like, that is unrealistic, guys. You're not going to get anywhere done.
The thing is, I feel like this is one of those things where when you have a family, and I mean, granted, I don't know from experience, but you see people with like 3 kids, 4 kids, and it's like if you had 2 children and you were like, no, we need more, you're already in a different place. Like if you have 3 kids and you're like, oh, I need another one, you're already like you're aware. Like I don't I mean I know there can be surprises. I know there can be like, unplanned things and whatever like that. But I just think like if you're having 2 and 3 kids or 4 kids, you haven't been bamboozled. You know what I mean? Like you're the one who's
Yeah.
making, going down the road, choosing that. You know what I mean? Again, it probably is really overwhelming. It's probably really, really busy, but
But I still think
yeah.
that is a very hard activity when you've got really poorly kids. I
Oh,
just
it's got to
think
be really, really hard. But yeah, I mean,
unrealistic.
but
Have they
Sheila is
spoken
known
on the...
for being
And
so
that's the only reason
crazy.
I watch the show, the realisticness.
Yeah, but Sheila is so known for just doing like way too much. Like she's like cooking a whole turkey dinner. She's like making mince pie. She's decorating a tree. She's buying and wrapping all the presents. She's doing all the cards. She's like sewing all the costumes for the Christmas, like literally all in the same day. It's just like, how, ma'am? How?
Have I spoken on
Like
the
always.
podcast before about my memory of having chickenpox as a child, and I don't remember anything?
You don't
No.
remember it at all?
Well, no, I do
No,
remember.
she
wait.
remember her life. That's
Well,
well
that's the
known.
whole thing. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
So my memory of having, we only had one car. We had, our family car was a Metro, which for
We
is
had a
just
Metro.
but for a tiny, it's a tiny car for a family of
Yeah.
4 now.
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
And my memory of having chicken pox was we were going to the tip, so the seats at the back had been put down so that all this stuff could be put in the car to go to the tip. And I was just free in the back of the car with all the rubbish. I wasn't sat in a seat. I was just free in the back with chicken pox going to the tip. That's it.
Are we sure that's real?
Yeah, I have a vivid memory of it.
Yeah, but you've got a vivid memory of it, but you can't remember anything else. So maybe you might want to fact check that with your mum. Oh, also, when we went down to see Becky last week, I actually got some fact checks with her mum about her birth, Jen, because we've been asked her and stuff. It was a
Yeah.
natural birth, not a C-section.
I
She
knew
was-
that.
Well, I don't know if you said that before because you were like,
I
I'm
could
not
have
sure.
told you that. She's not a cesarean anyway. Because Alex, it was my birthday last weekend. So Alex asked my mum what time I was born.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so we've established I was born in the morning. She went into so much detail though, Alex.
It was good.
Did she tell you like the full birth story? Was it like
She was
fully
like, I went
graphic and
in,
everything?
I had an enema.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
I
but
would
I
not
didn't
want to
think
know
it was
that.
weird. I was really enjoying the detail because obviously Bex doesn't remember these things.
Well,
you
I
wouldn't
mean,
know that detail
truly, how
anyway.
could she though? I mean,
Yeah.
even for Beck's memory, that's a little bit.
I was just like, Mum, she doesn't need to know. She just literally asked you what time I was born. She doesn't need to know this level of detail.
She's like,
was
and
really
then
cute.
I
She was
did
telling me all the
this,
details.
and then I felt
then she-
that. Yeah.
Tell me about your mum and dad's friends who were who came to look after your brother, and that your
Frank
brother
and
didn't
George.
care at all when you came home.
No, they didn't. They bought him a. Did they buy him a swing or a slide? A swing.
Yeah.
And they were like, look at this baby. And he was like, never mind that, Frank. Look at this. What was it? A slide or a swing?
Look at the swing.
Look at the swing. Never mind her. Look at the swing.
He's like, I don't care about the baby. So wait, Bex was a natural birth baby.
Yeah. It was a long
And
birth.
Did she say how long was your mom in labor?
I think she woke up with pains and then had me. So I
It was
don't
like
think
24 hours.
Oh, I've heard.
She was in
I've heard
overnight.
well, I don't know.
I got it from, I don't want to call your mum a horse, but I had it from the horse's mouth.
We know that. I
And
don't, I don't want to go
how
into
how
this
big were
level.
you? How big were you when you were born? How many?
£9.
Wait for this. Wait for this. Say it. Hang on. We need more gravitas for this. Say it again.
£9.12.
Whoa, you were
Yeah,
a big
natural.
baby.
Yeah.
Oh my
And my
gosh,
brother
wow.
was £9.12. We were exactly the same.
Oh my
What's
goodness.
the baby?
But they
That's
were like,
unusual.
so my brother was, they were like, he looked like a real boy, like he was long and skinny. And then apparently I was just really wide.
Yeah, but he's really tall, isn't he? He's like a foot taller
Yeah.
than you.
And I'm
He is
still
really tall.
wide.
No, you're not. She's not at all. I was massive.
No,
I
No,
was
the opposite of wide,
£9.2.
actually.
I was £9.2,
Wow.
but just junk.
Yeah. We're
Oh.
chunkies.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Should we do heroes
Okay.
and zeros, ladies?
Oh, yeah.
Well, wait,
yeah.
did we talked about everything, I guess, right? Oh, they did watch Eurovision at the end. It was like a real
Oh.
come together
Oh, I
moment.
need to chat about this because this was a plan all along, wasn't it? Sister Monica Joan wasn't allowed to watch Eurovision.
Yep.
Which
Sister
just-
Julienne goes to, was Sister Monica Jane with them? No, I can't
Wait,
remember who's
where?
with Sister Julienne. She goes to take Reggie a birthday present, a happy
Mhm.
birthday, and he says it's the unhappiest of birthdays because the telly's broken and Fred's got the back off it, so they
Oh.
have to go to Nonata's house to watch Eurovision there.
Ah.
But that was
And
was
Sister
that a
Julian was like,
ploy?
of course we can for this momentous occasion, anything.
Yeah, was that a
Hopefully
ploy?
that'll
Fred's
make her a
ploy?
lifelong fan.
Yes,
It's
I hope
Fred's
so.
ploy so that Sister Monica Jane can watch it, isn't it?
Oh! Oh, well, I didn't realise that. I just thought the telly was broken.
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't get
Bobby.
any of that.
No, I think I saw him give Sister Monica Joan a look as they arrived.
Like a little
Right.
cheeky wink or something.
Yeah.
Clever, clever. I missed that.
Okay, that makes more sense actually, because Fred and Monica Joan are always like kind of in cahoots, you know.
And also, I'm just glad they
Okay.
got to go and do that, despite.
Nancy obviously told Colette, and Colette took it. I mean, she just took it as if she was very
She was
matter of
really
fact.
good about it, wasn't she?
Yeah.
I
Well, that
don't
was
like, I
kind of
can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
well, that was kind of where I was like, oh, wait, how is this gonna go? Because when Colette and her are sitting in the garden, and it doesn't seem like, oh my God, and Nancy's makeup was so intense. It was like the most 60s mod makeup that you could ever imagine. But everything, I wasn't very respectable because when I was 16, I had a baby. She's like, oh, where's the baby now?
I know.
Oh, bless
And she
her.
was
But that's
like,
what you'd expect them to say, to be fair.
it is, but yeah, yeah.
Because
I don't know.
if you're not explicitly saying to them exactly what, do you know what I mean? Then they
Yeah,
might think like that.
I, I, I'm not sure about this, so like, anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I just feel like the way that this storyline is playing out is just a little bit too easy
Convenient, yeah.
for, yeah, it's just all working
Well,
out
that's
like
just
too
Nancy's
well.
life all over, isn't it? But there we go. I'm
Yeah,
joking. I'm joking, Bex.
Bex has the most evil eye look on her face right now.
I'm joking.
But I just feel like Colette would really struggle.
Yeah.
I just feel
But
like she
she
would. It
didn't
just doesn't
seem
make
to. But
sense.
actually, if she's unsettled, that might be quite good for her
Yeah,
to
I
kind
don't
of
know,
have this
because
future plan.
Nancy's been the only constant in her life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm sticking up for you, Bex. I'm
So
saying
actually, I think to
it's,
actually then
yeah.
find that that's your mum rather than someone that you've never met and you don't have a picture of even,
And who's dead.
I'd be quite thrilled.
And also have a plan to move in with her in the future. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are we now at heroes and zeros?
Yeah, let's do it.
go for it,
My
guys.
zero is going to be Miss Niall,
Zero is Miss Nile.
because all of this respectability stuff just it's not
That's
necessary.
fine. Yeah. Say
Yeah.
more.
But then I just assumed that the babies were stillbirths and that she hadn't purposefully.
I'd
We
like
don't
to
know.
hope that was the case.
That's a
Yeah.
grey area.
Yeah.
I just think,
Mm.
like Nancy, yeah, it's not the quote unquote respectable thing to have done, but Nancy's just gone with it. That's where she is. She's embraced it.
Yeah.
Whereas Miss Niall's still keeping up the pretense of respectability.
Mm.
And then my hero, who's my hero going to be? My hero is going to be Sheila for typing up those notes.
Nice.
Good on Sheila.
Yeah, we're going above and beyond as always.
Mm-hmm.
Jen?
Okay, my zero. I'm trying to think like I'm gonna go cigarettes this week just because, they're so bad for you and they cause so much harm. And I will say I felt like I was really on Audrey's side when she was telling her husband to quit and he was kind of giving her a hard time about it and then he finally did and I was really grateful. But he really does need to stop smoking and cigarettes are so bad. And honestly, that picture of that like tar-filled lung
Yeah.
that she showed in the slideshow was really horrible and disgusting. And honestly, those kind of images always really freak me out. And so, yeah, I'm not cigarette smoking. No, no, no. It's just not good for you. I mean, everyone's personal choice, but it's just not good for you.
If someone said to you, "Oh, I'm going to the hospital because I'm getting my lungs filled with smoke," you'd be terrified. But people do it to themselves. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. So, hero. My hero is going to be the Flemings. I loved them the first time we saw them.
Yeah.
They stole my heart. I always love a comeback story where someone gets, the happy ending that we were worried about them, not getting or they didn't get the first time. And actually, who they made me think of is, and I don't think we've seen her again yet, unless I'm wrong, but the lady that Sheila was in the hospital with when she was having
Gloria.
Yeah, I want her to have her happy ending they just made me think of her and I just am so happy that they had a beautiful, healthy, happy baby little girl. And when she said when Audrey and Derek were like leaving the smoking meeting and he was smoking and she was like, "You gotta stop those things," and he kind of gives her a hard time about it and she's like, "I want you around for a long time, Derek." And I just thought they're just such a cute couple and like they've just been through so much and they just have clearly like such strong Okay, sorry, I'm
And
just
good
going on, but
friends.
they're
And
just
good
great.
friends because Bobby.
And Bobby.
Yeah.
They're my heroes.
Okay, my zero is Sister Julienne for not recognising the importance of Eurovision Song Contest.
Fair.
Honestly,
fair.
it's the only time that I'm going to give that to Sister Julienne because I just love her. But my God, when she said it wasn't history, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Shut up." It's like the people in my office. I'm joking. I love the people in my office, but they don't recognise the cultural significance of the Eurovision
Call
Song
The
Contest.
Midwife.
Well, no, Eurovision Song Contest.
Of Eurovision Song Contest,
Yeah,
sorry.
they definitely don't recognise Call The Midwife. So, which I agree was also utmost importance. But in this household, it's massive. And my hero was going to be either Audrey or Derek, but you did both, which was genius. So my hero is going to be Fred for fixing the telly so that Reggie got to watch the Eurovision Song Contest.
There we go.
Yeah. So love it.
I love it.
And it's good to be back in it, guys.
Yeah,
It was a bit of a
we're
weird
we're
start, a bit of higgledy-piggledy by us.
Yeah, we got to get back in the groove because we took kind of a long break for us, which was nice, but it's really great to be back.
So next week we will be watching Series 11, Episode 2. And by now, by the way, guys, the documentary will have been out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And we have a special episode that's going to air about the documentary, right?
yeah, it's already been aired. So yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
So maybe
We
you
should
two want to share photos of yourselves on the internet.
Maybe.
I wonder if
Well,
they'll
we
show
are
actually. They might show pictures of you two when you're all
on
wearing
the
your makeup.
documentary.
Maybe.
But what we should have done when we did that episode is have you talking. We should have recorded us afterwards when we've watched it. Maybe we should
I
do
mean, we
another
still
one.
can. We still can.
Yeah.
Maybe we could
Yeah,
do
we'll
like
do another
little
one.
voice notes that you could put in to the episode after or something.
No, we can just do another thing and I can just edit in, guys. It's not hard.
Okay, maybe
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We can figure it out
Yeah.
off air.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway,
Listeners
next
don't have
week.
to hear us work through all of this.
What do you think, guys? Right, Series 11, Episode 2 next week. Follow us on X/Twitter, Instagram. We've got a YouTube
I think we
channel.
should come off X, but that's another. That we'll discuss that with the listeners next week.
No. So yeah, it just shares automatically onto everything, threads, everything. So anyway, so see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye.